Philadelphie est une ville symbole, porteuse des rêves de liberté des premiers Américains et terre d'accueil pour de nombreux immigrés venus d'Europe. Fondée au XVIIe siècle par des protestants anglais, les Quakers, c'est ici qu'ont été écrites les premières lignes de l'histoire des États-Unis. Comparée aux autres grandes métropoles de la côte Est que sont New York ou Washington, Philadelphie est en apparence une ville traditionnelle et une attraction touristique majeure pour beaucoup d'Américains, attirés par les témoignages de leur histoire. Un million et demi d'habitants vivent aujourd'hui à Philadelphie, une population composée presque à part égale de blancs et de noirs. De nombreuses tensions sociales et les mauvaises gestions successives des fonds publics l'ont transformée au fil du temps. La ville des pères fondateurs figure aujourd'hui parmi les plus dangereuses du pays et un quart environ de la population vit en dessous du seuil de pauvreté. La grande majorité de la communauté noire est concentrée dans les quartiers nord de la ville. C'est là que s'étend Strawberry Mansion. Ce quartier, autrefois prospère, était habité par les Blancs jusque dans les années 50, époque à laquelle il fut touché de plein fouet par le déclin économique de la ville. C'est ici, au cœur d'un des quartiers les plus pauvres, que depuis plusieurs décennies sont installées les écuries de Fletcher Street.
There wasn't that many kids around before we started it. Like they would come through and they were wanting to ride. But the horses, everybody, they were private owned. And they wouldn't let the kids ride. So I said, what the heck? I'll start a club. And then because I had a lot of horses. And so I let them ride my horses. I didn't care.
Le Fletcher Street Urban Riding Club, le club hippique de la rue Fletcher, est une association à but non lucratif créée par un vieil habitant du quartier, Ellis Ferrell. Le club a pour vocation d'apprendre aux jeunes à monter à cheval, bien sûr, tout en leur apprenant le respect et l'exigence. Un moyen inhabituel pour les habitants de ce quartier pauvre de s'élever contre l'adversité en transformant un loisir généralement pratiqué par des Blancs en une culture urbaine noire.
My name is Ellis Farrell Jr., and I am the president of Fletcher Street Urban Riding Club. It was always about the kids, always about kids. But I used to buy horses, like we go to the auctions, and they see a horse that they like, they come get me. Because I was a truck driver, so I was making pretty good, I had money then. And they saw it, they wanted it, I bought it. You go to the auction, and killers buy them for slaughter, and we buy them and save their life. And they don't have to work as hard as they do when they're on the track. And I ended up taking care of 23 horses.
This is a horse we rescued. Because he had 1 eye. Got him when he was 18 months old.
How old is he now?
He's 9. And that's his name, One-Eyed Dusty. Didn't buy him. He'd have been 9 years old, was worth of dog meat by now.
There's nothing for the kids to do here in the city of Philadelphia. And the kids has nothing to do but stand on the corners. And that's what we are trying to eliminate, is get them off the corner, get them something positive to do.
We're gonna stop right there. Stop way back there with me at, man.
They just come in and we start trying to show them what we know. Show them the right way. That's what we call it, the right way. To keep them out of trouble. We don't want them to wait, because while they're waiting, they could get in trouble and get into the system. We try to keep them out of the system.
It teaches you responsibility. You know you have a responsibility to get there. You have a responsibility to feed these animals. You have a responsibility to ride this animal. You have a responsibility to love this animal. It's the same in life. You have a responsibility to pay your bills. You have a responsibility to take care of your family. You have a responsibility to love your kids. It's all reenacted right there on Fletcher Street, which people don't realize the good that they're getting out of it.
Les personnes qui s'occupent de la vingtaine d'animaux sont des adultes, dont la vie aurait sans doute été bien différente s'il n'y avait pas eu le club.
I've been riding horses all my life, as long as I can remember. Years ago, my grandmother and grandfather used to first take me there on Fletcher Street. I would sneak over there without my grandparents knowing, just to be a part, you know, go up to the stable and hang with them, you know. Then when I got older and got old enough to go on my own, I would go on my own, stay up there sometimes I'd be up there all day. Get there 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning and be there all day.
Lee Canady est l'un de ces enfants du quartier parvenu à échapper à la fatalité du ghetto. Pour lui, l'influence des anciens du club a eu un impact inestimable sur le cours de sa vie. Il est aujourd'hui officier de la police montée de Philadelphie, un métier qui lui permet de vivre au quotidien sa passion pour les chevaux.
Ellis and Pee-wee, Deke and Charlie, they really played a big part in keeping us busy around the stable. These guys make sure that these kids eat, and some make sure these kids have sneakers. Pee-wee cuts hair sometimes, so he makes sure these kids have haircuts for school. And we do what we got to do, how we got to do it, to make sure these kids have what they need to want to continue the legacy on in Fletcher Street. You know, when you go on the outside, you had your normal neighborhoods with your normal life activity, your normal crime activity. Once you got off the block, then you entered the outside world. But on Fletcher Street, it was always the same all the time. Fletcher Street was always the safe zone for me.
À 14 ans, Tamir est un ancien du club. Il y vient depuis une dizaine d'années.
You can't first go there and expect to ride. Like, you gotta clean up. Then, like, as soon as you gain everybody's trust and stuff, they let you there, give you a chance. Like, you gotta work to ride. That's basically you gotta do, work to ride. First, all I had to do was go home, do my homework. Gotta get it right first. Then, after I'm done all that, I can go to the horse stable. If I don't do good in school, I can't go to the horse stable.
That's your favorite horse?
One of my favorite horses.
Why?
Hmm?
Why?
Cause she's fast and she's smart. She's smart.
She understands you?
Yeah, a little bit.
You talk to her?
Yeah, sometimes I be talking to her. Like when she got a control, I talk to her. And she listen.
When did you first meet her?
When they first brought her around here, I saw her on the trailer then. I looked at her, she looked nice. She was a little smaller than this.
In an urban environment, in a neighborhood like where this program is housed, oftentimes people are raised or grow up with an attitude of being suspicious of others or always being on guard. And it's interesting because horses sort of are that way naturally. They, in nature, they are prey sometimes, and so they're always on a lookout for predators. And there's sort of a similarity in terms of how the two parties going into this relationship have been. However, if they're going to come together and have a positive relationship, they have to trust each other. Both have to sort of let their guard down and approach each other without that apprehension that the other one is going to hurt them. And so there is sort of a laying your cards on the table, so to speak, in that you have to sort of be able to make yourself vulnerable and trust that the other living being is going to interact with you in a positive way.
She has a lot of energy. She's that type of horse. She likes doing that stuff. She like running and playing like us.
Do you wish he could talk?
Yep. If that was possible, that'd be fun.
What would she say?
I love you.
Do your regular. Do your
There's also a safety in interacting with animals. Oftentimes, humans that may feel that other people may judge them or have certain expectations of them. Oftentimes, an animal is not coming with those preconceived notions of what the relationship needs to be. And so it can also be a way for a child, an adolescent, or even an adult to try out different behaviors and interaction styles with an animal. And the animal will give you immediate feedback.
What would have happened if there wasn't the stables?
Well, a lot of.
What would you be doing?
What would I be doing? Who knows?
Some people, we ride to some places they never seen a horse, like outside the zoo. And it's like a real experience for them to come up and say, you riding a horse and they actually touch your horse. It's like a real experience. Like, you be proud of that. I feel like I'm famous a little bit. She sense like when I'm scared or like when danger near, she know it, like something's gonna happen ahead of time. Sometimes like when the dog is like loose or something and they don't bark, she don't wanna go, she'll stop right there and start backing up, or she'll rear up or buck or something like that. She'll let me know she don't wanna go that way. But sometimes you have to make her trust you, like you know it's right, so you gotta keep going. And the trail's like a bridge. They know like it's not gonna fall, but sometimes they don't want to go over it, but you gotta let them like make you trust them. They gotta trust you to go over that bridge. It's in my blood. We cutting down here? Yeah.
Philadelphie a une particularité unique aux États-Unis. Il n'existe aucune loi limitant le nombre de chevaux que l'on est autorisé à posséder en ville. Mais en mars 2008, la police de protection des animaux, la SPCA, est intervenue suite à une plainte anonyme. Résultat, le département des licences a fermé puis détruit une partie des écuries.
In 2008, a horse died. It didn't come from Fletcher Street. It came from 26th Street. They were dumping the manure in there. All right, they covered it up. Well, the manure composted it, but the bones were still there, and the dogs were dragging the bones out. In SPCA, they knew where it came from, but they wanted us to tell them where they came from, and we didn't tell them. So they got mad at us.
Fletcher Street has been in existence for many, many, many years. And over those years, we've had numerous complaints regarding cruelty to animals violations at the Fletcher Street location.
They got the city involved by constantly harassing them about trying to get them to harass us. The councilman of 5th District, this is the 5th District, he told us he was going to do everything in his power to shut us down.
My officers did an investigation down there and, found some violations. Over the years, we've served search warrants and removed horses from the location that were either emaciated, were in need of medical care, or just living in unsanitary conditions.
Pennsylvania SPCA, Philadelphia LNI, and Health Department began the process of clearing out stables they say are home to 44 horses.
They had every TV station, had 6, 10, 3, 29. All those channels, they had their cameras set up on Fletcher Street. They sat out there until 10:45 one night to get the picture of a rat drinking some water out of a whole puddle. They showed it on the news that this is where the horses drank their water after the rats drank. But all they had to do is raise the camera up 10 feet, and there's 2 big bathtubs of fresh water that was put in there that evening. And they took 2 ponies to the SPCA and had their vet check them. He said, there's nothing wrong with these ponies, you gotta give them back. But they didn't put that in, that wasn't printed.
I have no problem with Fletcher Street. I think what they do is noble. I think it's a great thing. They try to get the youth involved in riding, which is, you know, is in my view good. It's just the way they go about doing what they do. You know, there's rules, there's regulations that you must follow. And if they choose not to follow those rules and regulations, then they wind up running afoul of the law.
They slandered us. The consequences is we lost all our kids because the parents, thinking that we were so bad, we were cruel to the horses and stuff. Some came back and asked me when were we getting the horses back, because when they was dealing with the horses, they wasn't in trouble. But the horses gone, they learned how to steal cars. Well, I guess some of them already knew how to do that, but they were stealing cars and stuff, joyriding, and they get in trouble. But as long as they was here, they didn't do none of that.
Les reporters ont dépeint les écuries comme un enfer pour chevaux. Mais ceux qui en sont proches et ont passé une bonne partie de leur vie à leur côté ne sont évidemment pas d'accord. Au-delà des difficultés économiques et sociales auxquelles ils sont confrontés, les membres du club doivent relever un défi supplémentaire, celui d'aller à l'encontre de stéréotypes toujours ancrés dans la culture américaine.
It's an image that I think a lot of people connect with America, but it's interesting when you see those images that quite frequently it is a white or a Caucasian cowboy. So what's really unique is that the African American is oftentimes not depicted in that sort of way.
I consider myself as a black horseman. I ain't going out there chasing no cows. But that's where the cowboys come from the South. They call them cowboys because they say, hey, go get them cows, boy. Bring them back in. But my grandmother told me she wasn't buying nothing that she couldn't eat. So she raised cows. And I wanted a horse. I didn't get a horse, so I rode the cows. We broke the bulls to ride.
What would happen if you had no horse?
I have no idea. If I didn't have a horse, I'd probably go travel where they got a lot of horses at. And if I couldn't afford to travel, who knows? Probably just sit down and die.
When you see horses, you think of the richer side of America when it comes. You would never expect to come in a neighborhood that has some drugs, some crime, inner city, a lot of cars, a lot of kids, urban neighborhood, and right in the heart of all that is a vacant lot with horses.
A lot of these individuals that we deal with down there, there's no doubt in my mind that they love the animal, they want the animal, but they don't have the resource to really take care of the animal. If you can only afford a one-bedroom apartment on the salary that you make, okay, you are not going to move into a 50-room mansion and expect to pay the heat, the gas, the electricity, the upkeep of that property. That would not make sense, okay? When you buy a horse, okay, you got to know that there's a huge expense that goes with that animal to care for it properly. And if you don't meet that requirement, then you have a problem.
Having people say Well, you can't do that in an environment where you live. You can't ride horses. What do you mean there's a stable there? And participants in the program are able to say, well, yes, I do. And that's a very, very powerful metaphor in terms of people telling you that you can't do things, but going out and doing it anyways. And I think that sends a very strong unspoken message to people that you cannot let other people's perceptions limit what you can do in life.
At the stable, you can learn a lifetime lesson and stuff like that. Like, here they give you, like, mathematics and stuff like that you need to learn, but at the stable, they give you, like, street smarts and stuff. I learned that I could do a lot of things, like, I could become anything I want.
L'Amérique de Barack Obama est peut-être au seuil de mutation profonde. Mais les changements promis par le président de l'espoir ne sont pas toujours ressentis par les plus démunis, ceux qui ont toujours dû compter sur eux-mêmes pour conquérir leur liberté.
Since Obama been in, it's worse. Mayor Nutter cut everything. A lot of programs that they had in the city had playgrounds the kids went. He cut because of the budget. Out here now, they're trying to pass something in the city council to get rid of horses in the city. It's like a dying art.
I'm an Obama person. That's just me. So I feel like we got some things accomplished, and I feel like in the next 4 years we'll get a lot more work done. But it's the same with anything. It needs work and it needs support. Just like Fletcher Street, we need work, but we need support.
Reds, E, L, Mike, and Milan. That's Ella's grandson. I think it's like a family. Because everybody at the horse stable was close. Real close. If they ever need something, all you gotta do is ask Pee-wee or Mr. Edo, people like that, Ellis and them. They'll help you out.
And they watch you if you're good at school?
Yeah, they always like ask like, what you get in your report card, bring your report card down, stuff like that.
And you like that, or you think it's...
I think it's nice. This is my dad. This was at the Speedway when they was racing. My dad, he won. He came in first. He was riding a horse named Power. My dad did it, his dad did it. And so I think it's like in my genes or my blood or something. The new generation is gonna have to keep the tradition alive. I don't think it is a culture, I think it's like a tradition.
Fletcher Street is still Fletcher Street. You know, the kids put a little hip-hop in it and a little urban music in it, and they keep it going. If that's what it takes to keep you guys on Fletcher Street doing what you do, that's what it is.
When you're riding a horse, you have the opportunity to sort of see your environment in a very different way. When you get on a horse, you're getting a different perspective. And it also is a different way that you're moving, in that you're moving in sync or in unison with another living being.
In order for us to get to the park, you have to ride through 4 or 5 blocks of urban neighborhood of a somewhat drug-infested community. What you never know is whether it's going to be a shooting or a crime incident or anything. But for the most part, when we sit in that saddle and we head from the stable to that park, it's a great day. Regardless of how you look at it, it's a great day.
I can't tell you.
You don't want to stop when they go fast. Like, you risk like you just keep going. It's fun. When I first got on one, I rolled and I liked it. I like how they ride. And I got adapted to it, so it's fun. You can just clear your mind from stuff. Like things at home, school, stuff out in the streets and stuff like that. She like my vibe, like we do the same thing.
It's your thing.